On the morning of our anniversary, my husband didn't kiss me goodbye. He stood in the doorway, buttoning his cufflinks, already halfway gone, and said, "Don't wait for me tonight." It wasn't cruel. It was casual. Like he was reminding me to water the plants. And for the first time in 12 years of marriage, I listened without arguing, without asking why, without pretending it didn't sting. The house smelled like the lemon cleaner I'd used since dawn. I had polished the dining table twice. Ironed the dress he once said made me look like the woman he married. I even set out the silverware his mother gifted us, the one he only noticed when guests came over. All of it sat there, perfect and untouched, while his words echoed softly in the kitchen like a door closing somewhere deep inside me. I told myself he was busy. He always was lately. Late meetings. Phone calls he took outside. A calendar that suddenly required a password. I had learned to fold my questions neatly and store them away, because every time I unfolded one, he accused me of being dramatic. So when he said, "Don't wait for me," I nodded and smiled and felt something settle into place. I spent the afternoon walking through the city alone. Couples passed me holding hands, laughing into each other's shoulders. I watched them with a strange calm, like someone observing a life they used to live. I thought about the first anniversary when he surprised me with a handwritten letter. The fifth when we danced in the kitchen to a song he pretended not to like. The 10th when he forgot entirely and blamed his calendar. Patterns become clearer when you stop excusing them. That evening, I didn't cook. I ordered a single plate at a quiet restaurant I'd always wanted to try. The waiter asked if I was waiting for someone. I smiled and said no. The word felt heavy and freeing at the same time. I raised a glass to myself, to the woman who had waited faithfully through canceled plans and empty apologies, and I let the silence be kind. At home, I changed into comfortable clothes and opened my laptop. Not to spy, not to accuse, just to finally look. The shared cloud account was still logged in on our old desktop. He never noticed the things I maintained. There were folders he didn't bother naming carefully, receipts, photos. A reservation under his name for a boutique hotel across town, booked weeks ago. 2 guests. That date circled in red. I didn't cry. That surprised me. Instead, I felt focused. Like every small doubt I'd buried was lining up neatly, waiting to be acknowledged. I opened a spreadsheet and began documenting. Dates, times, screenshots. Not because I wanted revenge in a dramatic sense, but because I wanted the truth to stay still long enough for me to see it clearly. He came home close to midnight, humming softly, smelling like a different perfume. He paused when he saw the untouched table. "I told you not to wait," he said, almost amused. I nodded again. I asked if he was tired. I asked if his meeting went well. He answered easily, lying like someone who had practiced. That night, I slept deeply for the first time in months. Over the next few weeks, I became quieter. Kinder, even. I stopped reminding him of things. I stopped rearranging my schedule to fit his. He noticed, but misread it as acceptance. He didn't see me meeting with a lawyer during my lunch breaks, choosing someone calm and precise. He didn't see me opening a separate account, moving small amounts at a time, like a careful tide. I attended a dinner with his family and listened as his sister joked about how lucky I was to have such a devoted husband. I smiled and passed the salad. Devotion, I learned, often looks convincing from the outside. When his mother asked when we'd finally plan that big vacation, he squeezed my hand and said soon. I squeezed back and thought about the hotel reservation I'd printed and filed away. The evidence accumulated without drama. Messages sent at hours he claimed to be asleep. Photos cropped carefully but not carefully enough. A voice memo he accidentally synced, laughter in the background that wasn't mine. Each piece confirmed what my body had known long before my mind allowed it. I wasn't angry. I was resolved. On a quiet Sunday morning, I made coffee and set 2 cups on the counter. When he walked in, I handed him a folder. He flipped through it slowly. His face changed in stages: confusion, recognition, calculation. He didn't apologize, he explained. He said it didn't mean anything. He said I'd been distant. He said we could fix it. I listened the way I used to, except this time, I heard the hollow spaces between his words. I told him I wasn't leaving because of her. I was leaving because of the moment he told me not to wait, and I finally understood that I never should have been waiting in the first place. I told him the paperwork was already filed. I told him I'd taken copies of everything. I told him I wished him well, and I meant it in the way you wish a stranger well when you're done sharing a road. He moved out within the month. The house grew quieter, lighter. I donated the silverware. I repainted the kitchen. On the anniversary of that day, a year later, I returned to the same restaurant alone. The waiter didn't ask if I was waiting. He remembered me. As I walked home, the city felt different. Not brighter, not louder, just honest. And I realized that not waiting wasn't an act of revenge at all. It was the first decision I'd made entirely for myself. If you want to hear more stories like this, stay close. There's always another truth waiting.